Hello, everybody, and welcome to Back and Forth. I'm your host, Geckoman. Sitting beside me is our co-host, Roguegambit, the man who made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Is that fast enough for you, old man?
Let's get started on our ranking of Star Wars.
Your ranking of Star Wars.
Okay. Listen, the ranking is valid in every state.
I'm just putting it out there that this is Geckoman's ranking. I will be reacting to said ranking. I don't know exactly how it is, but I'm guessing I will like where some things are ranked, not care where other things are ranked,
Yeah,
and dislike where other things are ranked. So
well, you just have a hatred for Star Wars.
I do not have a hatred for Star Wars.
All right, let's get this thing rolling. So there are 18 in total of TV shows and movies. So starting with
like canon or something.
Yeah, that are canon
to the Star Wars universe.
Well, I mean, I really debate if I want to put some of these in canon, but all right. Starting with number 18, the worst of the worst. You haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
Resistance. Star Wars Resistance.
What is this?
It is an animated TV show.
All right. Yes,
I believe it came out on Disney Plus.
All right. How many seasons?
2 seasons.
All right.
Absolutely horrible. I could not stand it. I don't know. It's so bad.
Well,
oh my god.
Yes. I have no thoughts there. Fine with it being at the bottom, I guess.
Number 17. This is probably going to surprise a lot of people. Definitely you, because I know how much you love this movie. Solo.
I do not love this. I just thought when it came out, and I still think it is the best Marvel movie to come out. Star Wars movie.
We're on Star Wars ranking, not up Marvel.
Star Wars movie to come out in a long time, since everything new has been garbage. But I don't think it's good.
It is the only Star Wars movie / show that I've ever fallen asleep to.
Well, I've only ever fallen asleep in one movie in my entire life. That was a Star Wars movie that you'll get to eventually.
Actually, I am surprised that I fell asleep to this one and not another one that I put in my ranking.
All right. Well, why is it so bad?
So it's bad for me because first off, I just felt like Han Solo was not Han Solo in the movie. It just did not feel like Han Solo for me.
Well, I'm gonna say something that is probably gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way. Han Solo is one of my least favorite characters from the original trilogy, and I love the original trilogy. And
do you know anything?
Yes, I know that he is one of my least favorite characters from the original trilogy. It's just I don't think he's that fun, but I think that so that's probably why I didn't hate the depiction as much as other people who love Han Solo, hated it because I didn't love him, so it was like it's fine, So I can see why somebody who cares about Han Solo would put it so low for sure.
Well,
what before you move on, what did you think of the depiction of Chewbacca?
Well, seeing as he's a Wookiee.
Yes, they did not change his species.
Actually, I thought Chewbacca was Chewbacca.
I've always liked Chewie.
I thought it was kind of interesting to see him being chained up by the Empire, and that's how the Wookiees were enslaved by the Empire. So
okay, moving on.
Moving on to number 16 is Episode 9, The Last Jedi. Or no, The Rise of Skywalker, not The Last Jedi. I'm sorry. I get these ones so mixed up.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Yep. So bad.
All right. I'm not saying it's good, but I am wondering where a certain thing is. But that's okay. A couple of things that I think should be below that. So it's just garbage.
Yeah, it's garbage because the other two movies were just so messed up that this one had no ground to work with. But
doesn't that make the other ones worse? If this actually did anything positive?
Well, so you know what? We'll get into that once we move on.
Okay.
I'll let you know why this one's there. Just one of the main reasons I really hated this movie was the reason that Rey was related to Palpatine.
I mean,
I absolutely hated that.
Okay,
I did
okay.
not like that.
I wouldn't. I don't think it's a good movie at any stretch, but I definitely think 7 is far worse than it. Anyways, moving on.
All right, we move on to. Actually, that's the funny thing. We're moving on to episode 7.
Oh, okay. So this is what I would like any list I ever made for Star Wars. Even if I'd watched Resistance, I'd probably still put Episode 7 as my least favorite Star Wars thing that's ever come out.
Really? Well, for me personally, while yes, it did a lot. It did a lot of things that just were the same. They just the First Order just upgraded stormtroopers. Actually, probably worse stormtroopers. The Death Star, basically.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was literally like a shot-for-shot remake of Episode 6, and it was way worse.
Yeah.
And then just like the unoriginality of it, it just made me so angry watching that movie. I hated it, and none of the characters were fun. Like no characters I cared about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the villains weren't intimidating or
Yeah.
scary or villainous. It was like just worse versions of Darth Vader, and then the heroes were just poor representations of Luke. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For me, man, for the reason why it's above episode 9 is because the fact that I just had I had very high hopes for Kylo Ren. I thought I didn't think he was too bad, but it's still he was very bad.
Kylo Ren, why I'd put 9 ahead of 7. Like, yes, they're both garbage, but like I just thought some of the character storylines were actually interesting, whereas in episode 7 nothing was interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I went into 7 with way more high hopes also than I went into 9. With 7 I went in with a lot of high hopes. 9 I went in expecting it to be garbage, and well, it met all my expectations, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to number 14.
All right.
Is actually episode number 8.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
I actually really enjoyed the movie.
Okay.
It was an okay movie. Like it would, of course, there are so many problems with it, like a stinking royal guard losing one of his weapons in the middle of a fight. But as well as the pacing of the movie was just ruined.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to admit that the final fight between Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker was pretty good.
Yeah. That was definitely something that in theaters was pretty cool looking. There was a lot of the one thing I would say about 8 is there was a lot of it that looked really cool in theaters.
Yeah.
And also some of the stuff that looked really cool was absolutely aggravating. But yeah, I mean I'd say it was probably it was probably the most enjoyable of the 3 movies, but it was also the most like some of the choices they made were just such bad choices that even like the final fight with Kylo Ren, I just think is a terrible choice for like in storytelling. But yes, it did look cool and was unique, I guess.
I guess, yeah, I can agree with you on the whole storytelling, but I thought the visuals were pretty good. So that's why
visuals were very good. Yeah, I'm fine with it being above. I don't like it, but
yeah. So number 13, and there may be a lot of like, I feel like this one can be at least interchangeable with number 14.
Okay.
Because this show was very boring. Fett, the Book of Boba Fett.
All right.
It is so boring.
I mean, yeah, the first 4 episodes are pretty boring.
I mean, well, yes, I absolutely loved Cad Bane. It was,
and of course, the last episode might belt it up a little bit more, but yeah, I mean, I'm still like how a few things not been said yet. But that's okay. That's okay.
Before we'll talk more about Boba Fett after all this ranking. due to the last episode.
Yep.
Moving on to number 12, The Bad Batch.
Like this one. That's what I was talking about. I'm okay with where everything's ranked, but I'm just like, how is this not below some of those other things?
I don't know how it is. You haven't even watched it yet.
I've watched enough.
Listen, so the reason for me is I loved the place that the place that this story takes. It is right after the Order 66, and I like. So we know in the canon Star Wars, we know very little of what happens right after.
Bunch of Jedi got killed.
But right after.
Bunch of Jedi got killed.
All right. Well,
also, yeah, well, that doesn't mean you have to create whole new characters that don't exist in the canon just to tell the story.
True. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. Like,
that don't make any sense.
We could have been following a squad called Delta Squad. That is canon. They were in the Clone Wars. I would have enjoyed seeing them some more. But, yeah. It does have some pretty amazing like scenes, amazing shots that I would love to get as posters and put them up all over my room.
Okay.
But yeah, it was I love it. Okay, as I'm trying to get out here, I actually like the dynamic between Hunter and Omega, the father-daughter relationship that they have.
That wasn't terrible.
I thought it was probably one of the better things of the show. Everything else was pretty bad. Anything else you want to say about it from what you've seen?
From what I've seen, yeah, it's like that one relationship is interesting. That dude, don't remember his name, that like is the only one that obeys Order 66 or whatever.
Crosshair
was interesting for the first couple episodes that he was the villain, but then it seemed like they were taking him in a really lame direction. But then again, I haven't seen much of the rest of it, so I can't really say.
Yes, I actually like Crosshair as a bad guy against these group of troopers. They kind of did some.
Yeah, my main problems with it were just the concept, like these clones that have enhanced abilities and stuff is just ridiculous in my opinion, and just unnecessary, especially for telling the story. And so, yeah,
that's why I would have liked more to see like Delta Squad or something. Right. All right. Moving on to number 11. This is the one that I'm pretty sure you said it would be way lower.
Yep, I know.
Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Oh, well, that's not what I was expecting. Where the heck is?
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, this one's garbage, but
there's so much. What's the word? Exposition.
No, that is for sure.
and I'm surprised. This is the one I said where I was surprised I did not fall asleep to.
Okay.
I think it was just the anticipation of the final fight, because that is like very epic, even though a lot of the CGI in that movie was pretty terrible. But yeah, there's not much else to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have not watched this movie in ages. I believe I've only seen it once, and it was garbage when I watched it. So,
so moving on to number 10. This one can definitely be an interchangeable as well. This is definitely an interchangeable with number 11. It is episode 1.
Oh, I completely disagree. It's so much better in every way. I like it. So much better.
Everything about the movie is before the Clone Wars and everything. The greatness of the prequels.
There's nothing great about the prequels.
True. I mean, maybe Revenge of the Sith. No. We'll get to that when we get there. Yeah. So episode 1 for me, like Liam Neeson plays amazing in it. Sad to see him go in episode 1. It was great to see Darth Maul. He was like amazing for the first time we see him.
Yeah, he was great. All right. He was better than any other villain in the prequels.
Thank you. Yeah. So, but other than that, it was just kind of lame to see. Like, it was just. I know it was comparing it with the original 3 movies. It was pretty terrible. Not as bad as
Yeah, I mean, yeah, comparing it, of course, yeah, to the original trilogy, it's terrible. But well, I would put it ahead of both 2 and 3, though, most people in it. But just I think the storytelling of it was done a lot better. I think the characters of Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi are far more interesting than any other characters in the next 2 movies. And I think like the simpler story of it just really helped. They try to like the next 2 movies, they try to put so much into it that that was some of the reasons they had to have so much exposition to explain what the heck's going on. And in that movie, it was just a lot simpler and I don't know. I thought flowed a lot nicer and had a lot less exposition. Some really fun scenes. There's a lot of terrible scenes to it. Don't love the movie, but I think it's one of the better prequel or the best prequel movie.
okay. Okay. Well, then you'll hate where what I put at number 9.
I'm still wondering where something certain thing is.
Man, dude. Whoa, I'm curious to know what you think of my next. Hey, don't look. um, in number 9 we have episode 3.
It's okay. I mean, most people would put that, ahead of 1, but I just want it.
So, I would have put this way higher, actually. And yes,
Why didn't you?
what's his name? Does whoever plays Anakin? I forget his name now. Does a horrible job on giving out his emotion when he talks, but when he's just quiet, I feel like he does a very good job.
I personally think he gets a bad rap for just really, really bad writing. I think he does a fine job acting as Anakin. Like, it's not great by any stretch, but I think he does basically as good a job as anybody else does in those movies. But he just has horrible writing to go off of.
Yeah, there is horrible writing in the movie, but I do like Order 66 happening and stuff like that. But in the whole grand scheme of things, when you first watch episode 3 without watching like Clone Wars or something, you're just like, really? They fought with these clones for how long now? And the clones just turn against them?
You're saying you don't like the twist? What? Okay.
No, I like the twist. I wasn't the biggest fan of it when I first watched it because it made no sense to me why they would just turn all of a sudden with no like feeling for these Jedi that they fought side by side with.
Oh, they're clones.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have. I think it's fine. I mean, I think it was a good plot tool, but
well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Moving on.
right.
So number 8, we go on into the Clone Wars movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen this in way too long. I have no idea.
I mean, oh man, like it was good. It was really good. Comparing to the other stuff, wasn't the best. Like it was the first. I think it was the first Star Wars animated series. That is a lie. It wasn't the first Star Wars animated. This is the first animated Star Wars movie / show that was canon to the movies. And I absolutely loved the fact that they gave clones like character, like that they had like their own specific. They had names. They had like their own
identities.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it was very interesting to see that.
I'd agree. I remember enjoying it, but it's just been too long for me to really give much input on it.
I know what we're doing tonight.
Over my dead body.
Anything else you want to say? Do you remember anything from the movie?
I mean, nothing that I can differentiate from the show to be able to say distinctly it being from the movie. So,
Okay. Well, then let's move on to number 7.
yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the one that I'm going to be like, what? But okay, go ahead.
Is Star Wars Rebels.
Yep, this is the one I was expecting to be way lower, and I don't know how it's up there. I've watched enough of this to know that I absolutely hate it and don't understand how it's so high. But go ahead.
See, what you don't understand is, and I can go into a whole monologue about this.
Let's do it. That's what it's for.
Um, let me tell you this. So, why it's so high for me, why Rebels is so high, is because one, there's the while yes, the first season of Rebels was just I thought was actually pretty terrible. But once we get down the road and we go to the later seasons, we actually see some very amazing character development. While yes, the main character is actually a really stupid young little brat. I really liked Kanan Jarrus. He is possibly my second favorite Jedi. I like Sabine Wren. I like what they do with those two characters. Hera, no, she's okay. Um, she's a pilot, wants to be up in the sky. But I like the fact that what they did with the whole Darksaber in the show. I like that they brought Clone Wars characters into the show. We see Ahsoka in the show. While yes, Ahsoka wasn't the best in this show, I still liked her because we had connected with her in the Clone Wars and all that. Yeah, it was not that bad of a show.
So, granted, I've not seen anything past somewhere in the first season. I don't remember how far I got, but my problem was well, first of all, the animation could not stand.
Well, then don't
Could
watch
not
Resistance.
stand the animation. The movement, just the movement of the characters was very hard to watch. And then the writing of it just created characters that seemed like took characters that I went into thinking were pointless because like they weren't characters I cared about before and just made them feel even more pointless, like not giving them any like solid ground to stand on in my opinion. They were just like doing things, and I don't like it when characters I like they do that with, and when it was characters I didn't care about, it was just like, yeah, I couldn't keep watching it.
So here's the thing for me, Rebels started out as not the best show. Like I was very not wanting to watch it after the first season, but I decided in my mind that I had to because it was a Star Wars. But in this show, they did exactly what they did with Clone Wars.
I don't know what that is.
Well, why should you?
Hey, I'm watched all of the Clone Wars.
I'm sure.
Kind of.
I'm sure all of you may know what I'm going to be saying here. So, in the Clone Wars, for the first couple of seasons, we kind of have this younger like animation, like kind of like how like younger animation of for like younger audiences, and kind of more of like like conversations, more of battles for the younger audience, not much of bang bang and stuff like that.
Yes.
If you know what I'm saying. So Rebels does actually basically the exact same thing almost. While yes, I feel like it is still for a younger audience than Clone Wars is. They still do some dark stuff that happens in the later seasons.
Okay. No. Can't say anything to that. I haven't seen any of it.
Let's move on to number 6.
Alrighty.
Episode 4. A New Hope.
Right. Yes, A New Hope, Star Wars, or just Star Wars. Any of those. Episode 4, I wasn't sure what you were talking about. But, yes, Star Wars, A New Hope. I don't know how you have 6 things above it or 5 things above it, but go ahead.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just thinking about all the comments we'll get from this for this. So for me, it was the very first Star Wars movie. So yes, it should be higher. I absolutely agree it should be higher. But then as I thought about it, episodes 5 and 6 actually beat it as well, because in that movie it was a, I don't want to say low budget movie.
I mean, it kind of was.
Yeah, so I'll say low, but it was a low budget movie. It had a small firefight in the stars. We see the Death Star blow up, which was pretty spectacular to see. Like, that was amazing. We see, Darth Vader being the menacing, just walking in after a fight just happened. We see Princess Leia for the first time, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo's amazing scene against Greedo.
Han Solo and Amazing should not be in the same sentence. But go ahead.
For me, Han Solo was actually a pretty good character in A New Hope. All those movies. But yeah, and then seeing how Obi-Wan was in that movie. Obi-Wan was great because it was the first time we see Obi-Wan. He was amazing, and especially the actor played him so well.
For sure. I didn't hear anything saying that it should have been higher, so still not sure why you have 5 things ahead of it. But I very much enjoy this movie. I would have it number 2 in my personal ranking of Star Wars things.
Understandable.
I think it is very good. I love the practical effects in this movie. Love the design of the set of the Death Star from inside and out. It looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
I like how that was actually something I liked in the newer movies, was how they didn't try to go too much CGI in those sets of right. It all was still very practical, which I was kind of happy about. But the one good thing in terrible movies, anyways. In A New Hope, I really like the story. I like Luke's character a little bit. I wasn't big on any of the other main characters, but I do enjoy Luke. I do enjoy Darth Vader is a great villain. I love the visuals. So many good visuals in that movie. And then the story was
first
super
igniting
solid.
of a lightsaber, the first stormtrooper we see missing his shot.
Sure.
But that's my number 6.
All right, going into the top 5.
Top 5. And so already, now I'll just say this, already there's probably a lot of you out there who will want to just say how it should not be like this. And I absolutely,
it's your ranking.
There's a lot of things on here that may not need to be where they are, but this is my ranking. Exactly. This is where I like
Own it.
It took me forever to figure it out, but I figured it out because I'm horrible at ranking stuff. All right, number 5, and I know you're gonna hate me for putting this movie here.
I will never hate you.
Come on, let's keep it off script. I mean on script. Oh, number 5 is Rogue One.
So this is the only movie I've ever fallen asleep in. So boring and unnecessary. That's all I gotta say. It is just absolutely boring and the most unnecessary movie I think I've ever watched.
I'm disappointed. It is
a story that didn't need to be told.
It's an amazing movie. While yes, it is a story that probably didn't need to be told, I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed it. It was the first Star Wars movie where we had our main characters died, I believe.
Well, they had to. That's why it was so boring.
Well, I mean,
you started the movie and knew they were going to die, and guess what? They died.
I mean,
great movie.
But you can't deny that Darth Vader had an amazing
Yeah,
hallway
it has
scene.
one good scene. Yes.
Silence. Okay. Um, I also liked it. While yes, I was annoyed with how they did some things in the movie, but I won't say that here because it may bring up a lot of problems. Um, not between you and me. Other problems. So I also really liked the fight on the planet with the rebels and the Empire. I like seeing that. I like seeing how the Force is making the stormtroopers miss their shots.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about. Go on.
You've never seen that? Like stormtroopers have horrible aim for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And do you not have? Wow, we are watching that movie again.
I've only seen it once and I fell asleep. What do you want?
All right. Yeah. So, and I liked some of the characters, not all the characters, but I did like some of the characters. I liked the blind guy.
I did not. Oh my goodness. Oh, I couldn't stand him. Oh, yes. Every character in that movie was just so poorly written. Aggravated me. Sorry. Go ahead.
I like seeing Red Squadron as well as Gold Red 5.
Oh, Red 5. Of course I know who that is.
I like seeing the squadrons. I like seeing Blue Squadron. I like seeing Gold Squadron. There's actually a little something they did in that movie that actually made me realize.
Chartreuse Squadron? Okay.
I loved the entrance of of Darth Vader in the hallway.
Beige Squadron?
Enough about the squadron.
Wait, you were talking about him?
I loved also the entrance of his Star Destroyer coming in.
Yeah, me too. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry.
You probably fell asleep at it.
Probably.
And I love just the scene of him just standing there watching the ship leave the capital ship and go into hyperspace after his little hallway fight. Yeah, but there's a lot of good things, but some of the bad things about it, why it's so low.
So low. It's number 5.
No, is I did not like the pilot.
Me neither.
I don't think I liked the whole scene with her father.
I don't know who she or her father is, so.
The main character's father, the one who sent the Death Star plans to what's his name?
I don't know what you're talking about. So.
Okay, that's fine.
By the way, this is on my list to watch again. I will watch it a second time, and hopefully we will do a movie review on it. Just because I have such drastically different opinions than you do, and I think most Star Wars fans do. So I think it would be a really interesting movie to review, and maybe I'll have different thoughts once I watch it again.
Yeah, but let's move on before we get way off track here again.
Alrighty.
Number 4. I'm surprised I put it at number 4 because I loved this show. It's the Clone Wars.
I mean, I want to put it that high, but yeah, it's fine.
I absolutely loved it. There were amazing stories in the Clone Wars. While yes, there were some very boring stories. You got to understand, it's the Clone Wars.
Yeah, like my only problem with it is just. Okay, so first I'll say what I like about it actually, because that kind of leads into what my problem with it is. What I like about it is that it tells a very congruent story, right? Like you'll be jumping around from one spot in the galaxy all the way to another spot in the galaxy, and like they're taking place at the same time, right? And then and all the stories will move along at the same pace, which I think is really unique storytelling, especially for a animated TV show of that time, and I think they did a really good job with that, and so they're able to tell a lot of stories. But because of that, they have a lot of episodes, and a lot of episodes that are just so boring. And so yes, it has in every season it has good episodes, in every season it has maybe even great episodes, but in every season it has at least 2/3 of it that are just not that interesting, in my opinion.
Okay.
So
Now,
I really like it, but I don't love it.
Okay. Well, so why it's so high for me is because of the last season Last 4 episodes.
Oh, yeah. If I was just ranking those 4 episodes, yeah,
I
it'd
know, but
easily be in the top 5. But
there's still some.
there's still
For
like
me, there's still amazing.
387 other episodes.
For me, there are still some other amazing episodes, like the story with General Krell, stories with Cad Bane.
I do know who Cad Bane is, but not General Crow. Sounds familiar.
Okay, now you're getting me into it. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes. Ahsoka was
Yeah,
amazing in
Ahsoka
a
is
lot
great.
of the episodes.
For sure.
I think, and Ahsoka is my favorite Jedi.
Wow. Did not know that.
You did not know that.
I mean, no. I mean, she's
I told
awesome,
you this.
I don't think so.
Moving on. Yeah. So yeah, Clone Wars deserves to be that high, and I would kind of wish I put it higher, but I also know that also these other movies deserve to be higher as well. So it's
All
very.
right.
Number 3. I don't know why I was going to say episode 3. Number 3 is actually episode 6, Return of the Jedi.
Okay. Number 3.
While yes, everybody hates the little teddy bears killing stormtroopers, and I completely understand because I didn't like it. The reason it's so high is because they do a very good job of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader.
Yeah, that part's great. I would put this at number 3 as well if I was ranking these things. But I would definitely put episode 4 above it at number 2. It tried to do a little too much. In my opinion, and so it ended up. They ended up kind of shoehorning a lot of things into it I didn't think needed to be there, and then
What, like the teddy bears?
yes, and no, that's not what I was meaning. But yes, they did not need to be there. And then the ending, just because they shoehorned all these like little details in that, like, it's been so long since I watched this movie, but
Like the amount of stormtroopers that were there on the planet?
sure,
Or like,
or just like little. Okay, so like I feel like it was one of the first movies that took aspects from a franchise that was doing really well and things from episode 4 and tried to like put in little details that like seemingly called back to episode 4
like the
or
I think I know.
characters and things that like would just act in certain ways that and were very similar to episode 4, and a lot of those seemed kind of forced. And that's why I think that in the storytelling aspect it kind of falls short of episode 4, and that's why I'd put it ahead. But I mean, it's a great movie. I'd put it number 3 if I was doing this list as well.
Okay. That is good to know. Yeah, I love I love a lot of things. I agree. There are some scenes that were just, or some things that were not really necessary. Um, I'm starting to get myself confused with episode 5 here, but I'm trying to stay focused. Yeah, and like, yeah, I just like it, and I like I like the story in it. I like the fight with Jabba the Hutt. I felt like Boba Fett could have used more in the scene, been used more in the movie, but it's what we get.
Okay.
Moving on to number 2
All right, number 2.
is, you can probably guess what it is. You might be able to guess what it is. It is The Mandalorian.
Ah, well, I knew that. How do you
My
that's just something else? So.
favorite Star Wars character.
Oh my, did not know that.
He is amazing. He has his menacing way of some things. I can bring you in warm.
Appearance.
Yeah, his appearance.
Let me see.
His silence.
What's the word? Demeanor? No.
As you think about the word, let me explain why I put it so high. It is the time after the original. It is like after the original trilogy. Like, I loved seeing the time after the original trilogy, seeing the New Republic, seeing what has happened to the Empire afterwards, seeing our great this bad guy who seems to have a hold of the dark saber that we saw in the Clone Wars and stuff, and just a good show. And while yes, there are actually a couple episodes that are filler episodes, I'll say, that were probably a little boring, but they were still. I thought they were not too bad.
Yeah, I would put this just outside the top 3, probably at number 4, just behind the original trilogy. I really like it, but there are, uh, I'd say season 1 for sure would be maybe even in the top 3, but season 2 there did feel like it had some filler episodes, some characters I wasn't big on, and the villain didn't seem very villainous. He was just there, in my opinion.
Oh,
But besides that, I really like the storytelling. I really like the sound design. I really like the visuals. Love the Pedro Pascal's acting. Love the character of Mandalorian.
Din Djarin,
I don't know who that is.
the Mandalorian.
Oh, Din Djarin. Yes, he's great. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I also liked the. Well, yes, season 2 had more filler. I feel like had more filler episodes than season 1. I thought the whole scene with Luke Skywalker coming in was
That
pretty
actually
good.
was really. A lot of that was really good. Except for his
Until
face.
until the face reveal, which. Yeah, let's not talk about it. So bad. Yeah, like, and I also loved seeing how all the gadgets of the Mandalorian, like what they use, like
That was cool.
seeing all that. That was pretty amazing. Then we move in to number 1. Unless there's more you want to say about the Mandalorian.
Still can't think of the word, but go ahead.
Maybe I'll think of it after I say this. Is episode 5 for number 1. Great movie.
Spectacular.
I want to say, for me, for the Star Wars cinematic universe, I want to say, or just the canon story. There we go. Almost a flawless movie.
Okay.
I know you have your opinions about it.
I mean, it's by far my favorite Star Wars movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I loved the Hoth battle. It is like still to this day one of my favorite Star Wars
It was
fights.
a spectacular battle.
It's glorious. It's the first time we see these giant AT-ATs moving through. Like,
Yeah, once again, amazing practical effects.
yeah, yeah. We could go in to talk about how well they do that. Maybe we'll even talk about that in a future podcast show that we do.
Maybe.
But I loved the Darth Vader Luke Skywalker fight that happens. Even though Luke Skywalker just kind of goes swinging crazily when everything's fine.
I love that about it. Like just the inexperience shown by Luke Skywalker and the uh like how he has so much rage, I guess, in him. And that he needs to deal with to,
which actually,
really
if you
follow the Jedi way.
yeah.
So well done.
Yeah. It actually makes the whole scene of. And now, if you haven't seen this movie, I recommend you see it before I say this.
Somebody hasn't seen episode 5. The Empire Strikes Back.
You will be shocked, I know.
I'm speechless.
But which makes the whole scene of "No, I am your father" so much more like, whoa. Just the rage that Luke has in him comes from his father, and
Right.
it's just like, whoa.
And just like the fact that he's wildly swinging his lightsaber in front of a master Jedi or Sith, I guess at that time.
Sith.
But a master Sith that could easily kill him, but he's choosing not to because he wants to bring him over to the dark side is just something that adds even more weight to the big reveal.
Yeah, as well as the whole ending of them flying in the Millennium Falcon of Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker just kind of in the ships, just join me. He's asking one more time to join him in those final moments.
Yep, for sure. The final moments
And then
of that movie.
just Ben, why didn't you tell me?
Oh, Yes.
We had a bit of a look of
I thought you
confusion,
said
right?
then. Then why didn't you tell me? I was like, what? I really. I got you. Ben, yes.
I'm not that bad. But yeah, and that goes to our Star Wars ranking. Let
You
me
want to count it down real quick, or count down at least like the top 5?
Do you want to stop interrupting me?
I would love to, but it is outside my capabilities.
So at number 18, we have Resistance, 17, Solo, 16, Episode 9, 15, Episode 7, 14, Episode 8, 13, Book of Boba Fett, 12, Bad Batch, 11, Episode 2, 10, Episode 1, 9, Episode 3, 8, Clone Wars movie, 7, Rebels, 6, Episode 4, 5, Rogue One, um, or Clone Wars, 3, Episode 6, and 2, Mandalorian, and 1, Episode 5.
All right, that does it for our Star Wars ranking.
All right, let's move into our Book of Boba Fett final episode talk.
All right. Well, you want to start or shall I?
I will start because I had some problems with it. While yes, it is the final fight of our glorious Boba Fett, who is not glorious at all.
Or Boba Fett?
Yeah, true. It's more Mandalorian. It has just basically turned into Mandalorian season 3.5.
Yep. At least it's better than Boba Fett.
Yeah. But I will say some of the good things. Let me say about most of the good things about this episode is the fight with the Pikes, when they first fight the Pikes, when it was just Mandalorian and Boba.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Like what? I mean, they did not need to shoot that one guy like 50 times.
They were mad, okay? They were just letting out a little anger.
Maybe. But then we all knew the people of Freetown were coming as well. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, there was definitely like they tried to like build up a few moments that like you knew were happening.
mm-hmm.
That was I did not see the Rancor thing coming. I should have.
Oh, like
Him.
I didn't see that
I was
either.
Like, wait, like he's got to come back.
I don't
Like,
think
where
I
is he?
liked it because
And
he
then-
never had time. He never like spent time with
Yeah,
Mm.
like he didn't. I agree. I completely agree.
like what like how is he all of a sudden able to ride this thing if he
It's
never had
fun to
time?
watch the Rancor just wreck fools.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I think it was. I especially loved Cad Bane.
Oh yeah, Cad Bane was awesome.
The first scene we see him, it just gives us information that he already says.
Right. Didn't need that scene, but it was
But it
fine.
was still pretty cool because Cad Bane was, Cad Bane, menacing and awesome.
Yeah.
I like how Cad Bane was able to scare the Rancor away,
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
and Mandalorians just having to like do so much work just to get the
Mhm.
Rancor to stop. What about you? Anything good?
Cad Bane was great. Really like Cad Bane. Mandalorian was pretty cool. I mean, I just love his weapons.
The
Mandalorian's weapons.
Oh yes.
I like how they showed that he still is having trouble using the Darksaber.
Yeah.
Um,
I did feel like it was a little lighter for him than last we saw him because he was like really struggling with that thing last time.
he was pretty struggling with it again, but
Well, I'm not saying he wasn't.
yes, I
struggling.
think it might have been lighter for him.
Maybe he was, attuning to it.
Maybe. Yeah, Cad Bane is cool. The fight, all of his fights were cool. The biker gang sucked again. I love the Wookiee still.
Wookiee was. Actually, so this. Let's go into a little detail about the Wookiee and when
That
they.
was another like build up. When they're like fighting the pig guys, whatever they're called.
The pig. Oh yes,
And it was like they're like building. Oh, they're gonna. It's like yeah, of course they're gonna kill off the two key people that nobody cares about.
Yeah, exactly. That was pretty dumb. I like how nobody really like recognizes that they died. No, so in the whole scene where the Trandoshans are attacking the Wookiee, when they are piling on top of him, there's this one Trandoshan that gets his head stuck under his shoulder.
That was
And
funny.
I was just laughing.
Yeah. And there's the other one that was like trying to get on top, couldn't really climb up. It was pretty funny. Yeah, that was a funny scene.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that scene again just because it was just funny.
That's about all I got to say. I mean, I wasn't a fan of Cad Bane getting beat by Boba Fett. I was hoping Cad Bane killed him, but you know, knew it
same
was
here.
coming. And
Well,
Yeah.
let's say this though. I did like that Cad Bane beat Boba in the draw.
The draw. Yeah,
That
for
was
sure.
that was great.
And he had some good lines too.
Oh yeah, I
Final
like.
lesson or whatever. That was really great.
So yeah, you know what? That we'll go into that some other time. But did you like how they were bringing in backstory between the two?
I did like that, like the way they brought it in, because they didn't like, you know, over exposite at you like they did the rest of the whole
Oh, I was so
show. But they gave you enough that even somebody like me who didn't know, except that you had told me that they had history, was like, ooh, that's intriguing, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because there was supposed to be a Clone Wars episode with Cad Bane and Boba Fett together.
Did not know.
So, yeah, and we get some of that, and I just loved it. I just love seeing the
for sure.
backstory coming up and stuff.
For sure.
You could tell what my favorite part was. Anything else? I mean,
the ending. I mean, Grogu's back with Mando, so that's nice.
I was actually fully.
I was just. Sorry, go ahead.
I was fully expecting Grogu because I wanted Grogu to be a Jedi. Like I wanted to see him grow as a Jedi, but you know, of course, we're not going to have that. I was expecting Grogu to be like, no, just tear the shirt off and just pull out his lightsaber.
Yeah, I was really, really hoping for a little Yoda flip out the lightsaber move, but
yeah, exactly.
Didn't happen.
It's just weird to me that Luke Skywalker would give Grogu that choice.
It's just terrible. Hated that scene. Yep. Anything else?
I mean, other than the fact that Fennec Shand didn't.
Oh yeah, I hated. Okay, that's generally like scenes I love in movies when like there's like a character that's just like sneaking around killing people and they can't figure it out. That was so poorly shot.
It was poorly shot.
Oh my goodness, I did not like that scene. It didn't give you any information, and it didn't like you have to show how they're doing it, right? Like you don't have to show them, but show how they're doing it. And you're just like these shots are coming from all these different angles. Like she's somehow jumping over here and then jumping. Like it made absolutely. I thought it was both her and Boba Fett for a while because I was like,
yeah, exactly.
There's no way that somebody can be literally shooting this guy in the back and then this guy in the front. It was so stupid.
Have you ever heard of jumping?
Gosh,
it was dumb.
I did like the way she killed the bear. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that about does it for Book of Boba Fett.
Well, alrighty.
And now let's move into our upcoming of Marvel, Star Wars, and back and forth.
Alrighty, you want to get us started?
Yeah. So of course we all know of. Well, actually, let's first say I'm looking in the wrong book here. No, I'm looking in the right book. No, I'm looking in the wrong book. Let's first say that I haven't actually seen anything new. Still kind of the same thing. Andor coming in summer, Obi-Wan Kenobi spring. Even though I do have a suspicion that maybe it is Andor first, and I know I've been going back and forth on these two. Not Obi-Wan, but I want to say that it is Obi-Wan again. I'm just confused now at this point. So, but then we have Mandalorian coming in winter.
Let's just say December.
And then Bad Batch. That's about it for the two.
All right.
For the four.
For Marvel, of course, we have. And nothing new really has happened. Maybe a little bit new information, but Moon Knight coming out still. Haven't got a new trailer for that. Morbius, of course, coming out. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. We got a few things confirmed that we already knew, but nothing really New there. She-Hulks will be coming out in the summer. Thor: Love and Thunder in July. I Am Groot will be coming out sometime. We don't know. Miss Marvel, we're not sure, but I'm guessing September. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse will be coming out October. Werewolf by Night, probably October 31st. Wakanda Forever, November 11th. We did get for Secret Invasion, we did get a cast released or at least a main cast release. So that, told us a little bit, but nothing too new. Spider-Man Freshman Year still coming out. We're not sure when. The Marvels, we're not sure when. What If Season 2, we're not sure when. So that's what I got for that. So
You have any questions about Morbius?
Morbius, you watched a new trailer, I take it?
No, same trailer.
Oh,
But
you
I
noticed things.
I noticed things in it, which tells me that it could be somewhere.
It could be in a specific universe?
Yeah.
Like Andrew Garfield's universe? Okay, if you don't want to say. Anything else you noticed in it? Anything new?
Other than the fact of some, I don't know if I want to say this. It won't spoil anything from the. It's just the work they're doing, just how poorly the CGI is done.
Bad CGI is always hard. How about the Batman?
Yes, the Batman,
Batman that comes out March 3rd.
March 3rd. Yes, a lot of stuff. I realized in it. Any questions?
I don't think so. I don't necessarily want to know anything. What are your feelings about how Batman is being portrayed, Alfred's being portrayed?
I don't have an idea of who Alfred is. I don't think he's in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
So, he might be, and I just don't notice. I haven't noticed yet.
Oh, okay.
But
I thought he was.
I feel like Batman could scare me a little bit if.
By scare you mean be poorly done?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all I'll say.
Okay. Not. Are you a fan of Robert Pattinson?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I don't know if I would say I'm a fan of Robert Pattinson.
All right.
What's his name?
Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson.
I
I don't want another Willem Dafoe accident happening here.
All right. Villains. Are you excited about who the villain is?
Well, that's it. Just it though. I think we have a confirmation. Maybe not a confirmation, but I suspect there might be way more villains in it than we think there is.
Right, but I do believe there is isn't there a confirmation of who the main villain is?
I had no idea who the main villain is by watching the trailer.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure there's a confirmation.
I think there is too. I think there is. I don't want to say who it is.
If it is who I think they've confirmed it as, I'm very excited to see him as a villain because they have not portrayed him well in the past in anything, and he's one of my favorite Batman villains. The Riddler is who I'm talking about.
Okay,
you don't have to confirm that whether you know that or not, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Riddler, and I really like him as a Batman villain. If they play him well with his whole blackmail and the way he blackmails the rich in Gotham, I think that could be a really, really dark, interesting movie.
Yes.
So that's what I'm hoping for. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that I realize in this trailer.
All right. Anything else?
Well, no. Unless you have any more questions for the Batman or Morbius.
I don't think so. I mean, the Batman, I just don't want to know anything going in. Morbius, the CGI, that's pretty sad if they do bad CGI because that's going to kind of be a lot of what you see. Like Morbius is going to have to be very CGI'd.
Yeah. It's scary right now.
But I'm still excited for it, I guess. Especially because they pushed it back. I hate when they push something back and then the CGI is bad. They've done that with so many movies lately. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, if you're going to spend more time, at least put a little more effort into it, especially when you're spending that much money. But whatever. And I am definitely interested to see if Morbius is what universe it's in and such. But yeah, I think that's it for Back and Forth. Coming up, we've got the After Party. Our first episode will be coming out tomorrow, and or the day after this comes out. It's not tomorrow, but
Well, no, for us, it's not tomorrow. For you, it will be. No, it will be on the same day probably when you listen to this. So
yeah.
unless you listen to this like 4 years from now or something.
So that will be coming out. That hopefully should be a blast to record. And then we've got next week will be our first Star Wars Marvel battle.
Oh,
we will
yeah.
be pitting I'm blanking on his name, Nick Fury against Mace Windu.
You were blanking on that?
Sorry, I forgot his name. I'm gonna call him Mace Windu.
You know, I would have accepted that.
All right. Yep. So see y'all next time.
Yeah. On Back and Forth. Don't put yourselves inside a box.